Hey y'all, how's it going? Today is our anniversary.
Yep.
17 beautiful years. And we're going to start out by going to have breakfast at our favorite place, the Waffle House.
Waffle House.
And then, what are we going to do?
Go to Home Depot.
Yeah. We have a project. I have a project that requires Randy and his truck. And it's our last wedding project. But isn't that kind of appropriate? It's an anniversary.
Works for me.
We'll take y'all along for the ride today. Didn't he wear a cute shirt for our anniversary? Perfect. Twiddly-dee, twiddly-dum, I'm twiddling my thumbs. That song, Waiting on a Woman, does not apply in my household because it is always waiting on the man. The Randy man. We did the Waffle House. We went to Kohl's to get him some shirts. That was something he added. And now he added another one. We are at my least favorite store, Verizon, and it is absolutely packed because he needed to go in because he said that his phone downloaded something without his permission. And now it's all messed up and he can't get to his hotspot. It says something about going to an iCloud app and he has no clue. So he's trying to get fixed because he has video games and golf games that he likes to play, and he has to use his hotspot at home because our Wi-Fi stinks. Anyway, waiting on a man, not a woman. Next stop, Home Depot. Finally, I hope. I'm back home to get our project going. Oh, come on, Randy man. So what Mr. Randy Brown is doing for me is making some signs. We chose rough cedar 12-inch plank boards, I guess you'd call them. 8 foot long. We bought 3. We have 1 4-foot piece left. So these are 16 inches wide. And he is stacking 2 on top of each other to make them 24 inches tall. And those strips are 1x2s. He also grabbed cedar. It didn't have to be, it could have been pine. Both the 1x2s and the 1x12s are actually 3/4. They're not a true inch. So you basically have 1.5 inches of thickness there, and so our screws are 1 1/4. So I need 6 of those. So out of 2 planks, we were able to get 6 signs. And then out of the third one, I've got a little bit bigger one, and it's 24x24. And when he finishes up, I'll show you what I'm doing. Hey guys. Well, it's been a couple of days. This is the last board that I have to stain, and it is bigger than all the others because it's going to go up on the floor on a nice easel I have up there by the wreath and the garland up at the front. And so what I'm doing now is I'm getting these stained. Now what I am using is a water-based stain. It's actually a water-based gel stain from left over from when I had my store. It's Faux Effects brand. And the color I'm using is Honey Pine. But I watered this down tremendously because I don't want a lot of penetration. I just want a very light stain on this cedar. And yeah, this is not normally what you do to stain. You need to go with the grain and all that jazz, but it won't matter on this. You'll see on the front side I will go with the grain for the most part. This back side is the smooth side, smoother. The front side is the rough side because I thought that would look prettier, and I think it does look prettier, but I knew it was going to be harder to work with stencils, both getting the stencils to stick and not bleed. But I work with stencils a lot, so I'll show you a few tricks that I used to use and used on these signs. Right now it looks pretty yellowy green, which actually I happen to know that the Honey Pine is basically just their earth brown with some faux cream and things in it. And the earth brown is a yellowy brown, greeny brown, really, yellow greeny brown. But I think that this color, once it dries out on the cedar, it really is a nice color. So I will be showing you that. Now, as soon as I put it on, I use a pretty damp terry cloth rag. This happens to be a washcloth. You could use cotton. I happen to like using terry cloth because it grabs more of the paint, or in this case the stain, but I like working with the water-based stains a lot better than oils for projects like this. They dry fast and it's not so much work. You don't have to have paint thinner or mineral spirits to clean it all up. You may be familiar with 1 Corinthians 13. I think it's verses 4 through about 8. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It is not proud. It always protects. It always trusts. And love never fails. Now there are more verses, more words in there. But what I have done is I have chosen 7 on purpose to use in this wedding. Now this little church has 11 pews on the left side and 10 pews on the right side. So the smaller signs, the 6 smaller signs, are going to rest against the pew on the floor, maybe at an angle. I don't know, we'll just have to see if there's room for people to get in. I'd rather have it at an angle versus just straight. But every other pew will have one of the signs. And then this sign, the last one, is going to go up, as I said, on an easel underneath the wreath and the garland and all that. If you're on my Facebook page, you know, if you've read any of my posts about any of this or seen some of the pictures of things I've been doing, I recently, like last week, got me a Cricut machine a Cricut Maker, which is absolutely the greatest thing since sliced bread if you are a crafter. Oh my word. Can't believe I've been without that machine for so long. But I'm loving it. Not only does it shorten the time on projects, it does a lot of things that the hand just can't do. And it does it very accurately and very professionally. My first two projects using my Cricut, both were wedding projects, and I posted them on my Facebook group page. They were both different than this because I was using vinyl lettering. Wasn't making stencils, I was making lettering to actually attach onto the surface of the chalkboards. It's a little quicker, like I said, because you're not having to paint through a stencil. But I really could not do that with these boards because I decided to use the rough side. The vinyl has a little bit of a hard time sticking to rough surfaces, and so the vinyl letters would not have, I don't think, stuck very well. That's why I decided to make stencil and paint through them. Okie dokie. Let this dry and I'll take y'all inside. Just to show you though, I just did this one just a few minutes ago, and you can see the difference in how much it's already soaked in and is lightening up. But now I will show you some on my dining room table that are in the next stage, ready to go. Yes, I have a complete mess on my dining room table. So many projects going at once, but here are 4 signs. I already have one done. It's outside on the back porch. I've got one more this size to do, and then the big one. Well, it's the next morning. It's the crack of dawn. Randy's still sleeping. Dogs are up and outside, so I'm trying to get to it because I've got a lot to finish up here. I have laid out my letters on the board where I think it's going to look the best. And the next thing I do is mark where each piece goes. So I just cut a piece of tape, and then up in the upper left corner, I put the top of the tape at the top of the vinyl and then straight down so that I know where it needs to start. Now with this one, it's overlapping a bit, so I will put it in the right corner. Move those now. Actually, I'm not even going to mark that one. I'm going to get the others on first and then eyeball it. So I hope this green vinyl works all right. So what I do first is peel this white backing off, which sometimes is easy and sometimes not, to get it started. Now as you're peeling, you want to keep the backing right up against itself. So every now and then you might have a little piece of a letter that's wanting to lift. So far, so good. Oh, see, right there. So what I do at that point is I come in underneath with my finger and just press it down. Oop, there we go again. Okay, so now I'm going to come up here in this upper corner and get it lined up. And then just gently let it. I hope this is not an indication of how my day is going to flow, because I was just talking away, doing all this. Seriously, this is not a good sign. It quit again. So I've deleted more things. So what I was trying to explain the second time around was that when you are using vinyl on wood, and especially bumpy wood, the other thing you should do is use heat. And I demonstrated, which you did not see, using my hair dryer, because that loosens the adhesive on the back of the vinyl a little bit, softens it, and helps it to adhere to the wood. So you simply just blow with a hair dryer and then use a burnishing tool. I have two here. This one is the kind that I had in my store, and it's okay, but honestly I prefer just using a cheap junk credit card type thing. It's flexible, it's thinner, and you can really burnish. But when you put that hair dryer down, you'll start to see it kind of crinkle up. Well, not really crinkle, but kind of sink into the wood. And it adheres to all that little stuff. The next step after that, as I was explaining and demonstrating, was I use a foam brush and a polyurethane, water-based type top coat, and I go over all of the letters. This happens to be a matte finish because this is a rustic looking project. I don't want it even to be satin, no shine, and I will let that dry. When you're working with stencils and painting through them, it's the first layer that is going to tend to bleed. So by using this polyurethane, that's going to help protect the next layers from bleeding through. When this whole project is done, I will actually top coat all of the boards with 1 or 2 coats of this matte finish. So this will take probably about an hour to dry. I've been doing them all outside because we've had nice sunny dry weather, but now the rains have come, so I'm working inside. Humidity will make it take a lot longer to get dried. So when it's dry, we'll come back and I'll show you the next stippling method of applying the paint. Again, very carefully so it won't bleed. All right, we're ready to apply the paint now. The poly is completely dry. You can use whatever paint you want, acrylic paints, whatever. This that I'm using is actually a chalk paint. It's just one from Lowe's, Linen White, and I'm trying to get it in the picture here. There's the chalk paint. Now, what you need to apply is a stencil brush. They're round, the bristles are tight together. You can pick one up anywhere. And then when you load your paint, you can see there's hardly any paint on there. And I'm still going to use my paper towel, very, very little paint. And I'm going to, with a light hand, just kind of almost dry brush this on. For the first coat, that's what you want to do. Again, this is going to help it prevent it from bleeding. And you can pounce. If your paint's a little too thick, pounce it first. And then lightly swirl. This dry brush coat is now dry. So this time we're going to go thicker and try to get full coverage in this second paint coat. Now for the fun part. Just pray it didn't bleed. I definitely don't like this vinyl over the black that I used because the black didn't bleed. But I'll take my little tool here and straighten out a few little spots here and there that did kind of bleed. Still not bad though for being on rough cedar.